Hey guys, I am so excited for this week's episode of Studio Creative Kids. Let me show you what we're going to work with this week. Okay, so we're going to use some watercolor. So we need our paper towel, water, 2 different sized paintbrushes. We need these oversized, what do you call these? Popsicle sticks? You can get these at Walmart. They sell them in all kind of different sizes. Today we're going to make a butterfly. So I want this to be our butterfly's body. I have 2 different sized papers. I have a 11 by 15 watercolor page that we're going to use for the background. And then I have this mixed media set. These are 11 by 14. We're going to use 2 sheets of these to make our wings of our butterfly. I have these Shuttle Art temper paint sticks. We've been using these a lot in the studio. I'm pretty impressed with them. I really like these. I have some Richardson watercolor sets. These are amazing. We use these over and over and over again. We've used these for 2 years and you can see they look like they've hardly, been touched. We use these all the time in the studio. Have some cotton balls in case I want to add a sky element. I've got my glue gun handy so I can glue everything down. We have our pencil, eraser, scissors. I have 2 little tiny pieces of black paper so that we can make the antennas. I always keep my Just Art paint pens close by in case I want to add an extra element. And I'll show you some tricks in case you want, use the temper paint sticks and you want to spray your piece so that it can be touched and it doesn't smear. We're going to use hairspray for that. So, all right, you guys, let's get started. Okay, so for this part, I'm going to move these things around a little bit. So for the back, I just want to focus on creating some colorful designs. We're going to use all these different shades of blue. We have these neon colors here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 different shades of blue. So I want it to make like a sky effect, but it will be very abstract too. So you can choose whether you do stripes, what kind of designs you do, swirls, polka dots. We're just going to make layers of color. Once our watercolor is dry, then we'll use our temper paint sticks and we will add some more designs with that. So let's get started. So what I'm gonna do, these are so fun. I'm just gonna dip into my water. And the goal with these is to just get whatever color you're gonna pick as wet as possible and just move your brush around. I just wanna get that pretty wet. And so I'm just gonna go over my watercolor paper and just create a fun sky-like background because we're gonna set our butterfly on this paper. So we just want it to be really nice. Like I said, we're just kind of creating a nice design here and we'll just go over it and over it with color. Rescue that pink a little bit from that. This is one of my favorite colors in this palette. Watch the difference between these 2 blues. We just want to give this butterfly a beautiful, imaginary sky background to fly in. And the goal is just to fill your whole page with color. However you want to do it. You're the artist, so you can decide however you want it to look on your paper. When you're working with watercolor and your brush starts drying out, that's a good sign that it's time to go back in and dip and grab some more color because water with these is your friend. So it just helps you move that color around. Okay, so now that we have this full of color, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set this aside so it can dry. Once it's dry a little bit, we'll flip back and forth between each piece. Once it's dry a little bit, then we will go back over it with the other colors. But for right now, I'm just gonna set that aside. What I want to do now is I want to take, I might just put this on my napkin here. So I want to take my greens and I want to paint the body of my butterfly. I'm going to get this darker green here. And we're going to kind of do the same with him. We're going to paint him in. And then once the stick is dry, then we can go over it with our paint sticks and let's go to this color. And our paint markers. Yeah, I like that color. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside too. Let me grab my papers for the wings and then I'll come back and I'll show you how we're gonna make those. Okay, so I have my two 11 by 14 sheets of paper here. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna fold them in half. So we'll do that to both of them. So one set will be the top set of wings and the other set, and it's okay that they're getting like little blotches of this paint on. It's fine. We're gonna paint over them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw with my pencil my two sets of wings here. So I have my top wing that, let's see, I'm just gonna draw two little guidelines of where I want my wings to end up at. So I'm gonna come over and go up, and I'm gonna come back down. That's gonna be my top set of wings, and I'll show you. Since it's together, then all we have to do is take our scissors and cut those wings out. And then look at that. That'll be our top set of wings. So I'll set those there and set that aside. And so for our bottom set of wings, we'll do the same thing. I'm gonna do, excuse me, all my sniffling, my bottom set of lines. And so for my bottom set of wings, I'm gonna kind of go the opposite direction. I'm gonna go over, back here, and back up. And that's gonna give me my bottom set. You know what? I'm gonna make these. Okay. So check it out. So this will be our bottom set of wings. We'll layer over it our top set of wings, and then we'll have our body going over it like that. So here's the fun part. What we'll do, I'm gonna trim these just a little bit to not be as wide. You can do that. You can adjust your shape to see how you like that. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of like that better. Okay, so here is where the fun part will be. So for this, you can decide what kind of designs you want to have in your butterfly wings. I think I want to have just a mixture of some stripes and maybe some polka dots on the bottom. So I'm just going to draw my stripes in, make them look really nice and flowy. Like that. And then down here, I'm just gonna do some bigger polka dots. The closer you get to the edge, you can kind of just make them look like they're going off the page if you want to follow the pattern over. And then what we'll do is we'll come back to our watercolors, kind of the same thing that we're doing on the other page. Well, we're gonna watercolor and then we'll go over it with our temper sticks. So we'll set the polka dots aside and let's see what color. I think I want to do some black stripes on here. So I'll start this first line out like that. So I think it will just make such a pretty contrast against that blue background. And just remember that art doesn't have to be fussy. You can really change it up if you want to. You can make your own decisions on how you want it to be. Okay. Set those aside, and then on here I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm just going to go around the polka dots with the black color because I want this to be a really pretty contrast. Okay. All right. So there's my two contrasting wings. What I'm going to do is we're going to pull out, while these dry just a little bit, these temper paint sticks. And what we're going to do, so I'm just going to go through and just add just little extra hints of color and design here with these. Okay. Okay, so when you're working with the temper paint sticks and watercolor, sometimes they can just smear just a little bit. So I like to keep some hairspray in the studio. What we can do, let me move my paints back just a little bit, is we can just use a little spray of hairspray, and then that will seal that in. So we can, and it smells really good too. It kind of gives it a little shimmer. So what you can do is just set that aside and let that start drying. And then let's see, for our wings, I think I'm gonna add a little pop of pink in here. All right, we'll do it with this one. Add some pink in these wings. Okay, for this top part of the wing, I think I want to go with this fluorescent yellow here. It's just going to give me the little pop of color that I want to have. That's a fun thing about watercolor. If you kind of mix in another color that you don't mean to, you can just dip your brush in some more water and grab that color back out. All right, so I'm gonna set these to dry here. All right, so while they're dry, I'm gonna set these watercolors aside. Okay, so while they're drying, I'm gonna get this page back, and we'll use some of these different blues to add some more designs to this page, and maybe just a little hint of pink or another color. So let's see here. It's a good experiment to kind of just let your brain and let your creativity just think and trust your instincts on whatever pops in your head to do. Let's see here. I think I might do some diamond shapes. Kind of going off the page. All right, let's add our little hints of pink. Maybe I'll do some around these. Aren't these so fun? I love them. Little hints of pink. And maybe we'll even add some yellow in here and there. These are like a little lipstick tube. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. This is going to be a wild, colorful butterfly. So what I'm going to do is take my hairspray, and I want to spray this too and give it a chance to dry while we are doing the butterfly wings. Okay. So we'll kind of set that here and let that start to dry. So what I'll do now that my butterfly wings are pretty much dry, I want to take some of these accent colors and do the same thing. I just want to go over my butterfly and give it an extra depth of color. those. See how that just gives it a little extra shaded effect against that watercolor. Just like it looks so pretty. And then I might even take just a little hint of this pale blue. Just here and there. Add another little pop of color. All right, so we're also going to spray these wings and then we'll piece this colorful piece of art together. Let's get to spraying. All right, guys, we're going to let all of this dry and then we'll glue it all together and let's see how our piece of art turns out. All right, you guys, so we have everything is dry and ready to go. So I'm going to just add a few extra little elements on the body of my butterfly with my Just Art paint pens. Let's see here. On my wings too. Just define my little circles out better. Go ahead and pick up some of these blue spots too. So fun. So there's those. I might take my light here. I have my light out. Okay. My kids are using these. Let's do a hint. Yellow. Use this color. I like the little white accents. Okay, set those aside. I've got my glue gun handy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our colorful background and we will arrange our wings on our background where we want them to be. Let's see. And then I'm just gonna make just a little line of glue with my glue gun here. I do want these to be this way. I do want these to be this way. I feel like you guys watching are gonna be like, do it that way. Okay, I'm gonna make an executive decision. I'm gonna cut these just so that I can get them okay, I think that looks right. Let's see here. put a little twinge of glue there. There. Okay. And then I'll just go back and secure it a little bit. Hands. Just like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'll figure out where I like my stick to be. And then I'll just go ahead and put glue on that. If there's any art teachers watching and you guys use low temperature glue guns, you'll have to tell me what brand you use because I do want to get some of those for the studio. And once I have my butterfly pretty much where I want it to be, you know, we can manipulate the wings. That's the cool thing about the watercolor with the tempera paints and stuff. Like, it makes the paper have a nice texture to where you can bend it and fold it. And then what we'll do here is, what I want to do is take a pencil and about halfway up on this paper, I'm just going to bend it around the pencil to kind of give it a nice little swirl. So then what I'll do is under here, I'll add a little twinge of glue. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. About halfway up, I'm going to twist it around the pencil. Do it up a little bit tighter. Aha. And then I'll do the same thing. Bend this back some. A little bit more glue there. And we're going to put that antenna on right there. Kind of goes off the page. If you want to, you can take a cotton ball and you can just kind of manipulate it a little bit if you want to add some little clouds behind your butterfly. Do that, it'll be cute. The kids always like adding extra things. And it always ends up being so much fun to see what the kids decide and how they, you know, what they draw, the colors they choose, and how they decide to make their little piece of art. So here you go, you guys. Here's our colorful butterfly using watercolor, tempera paint sticks, paint markers, all the fun things. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Studio Creative Kids. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.